All right, enough Pochettino. Let's talk Europa League final.
What a final.
All right, the Bayer Leverkusen streak is over after 51 games.
51.
And it ends in the most emphatic way. This was, I thought, an absolute beatdown, a can of whoop ass that Gasperini and Atalanta unleashed on Bayer Leverkusen. Yeah. We saw them do it at Anfield. I think when they're up at those latitudes, they play well. Maybe they should join the.
But it was even not that big of a master. Like this was a masterclass from start to finish. At Anfield, Liverpool had chances. It could have slightly gone differently. Even at 0-0, they obviously hit the woodwork before. So it could have gone. At Anfield, they would have still won, but maybe they would have conceded two. They conceded chances. There was hardly nothing for Bayer Leverkusen on Wednesday night. Literally nothing. The plan from Gasperini and Atalanta worked so well to the point that I'm sorry. For me, this is on Xabi Alonso too. Because like you said, we knew exactly what Atalanta would be about. We knew it would be a 3-4-3. We know about the high press. We know about the one-on-one pressing where everybody has a player, which leaves a 1v1 at the back or 2v2 at the back, whatever. And Xabi Alonso was clearly not ready for it. Didn't see it coming, didn't have the plan for it, didn't change anything until halftime, which was far too late by then. They were 2-0 down, and they're the kings of late comebacks this season, but not when they are so bad and the gap is so big between them and the opposition.
So what I really liked, well, you mentioned that we knew it was going to be 3-4-3. Atalanta don't always play this way.
No,
right?
But
they have many different ways of playing. A little bit like Bayer Leverkusen, actually. They're much more multidimensional. Obviously, you have to be prepared for this. What I don't think they were prepared for, and I give credit to Gasperini on this, is when they do 3-4-3, it's one thing you have Scamacca, De Ketelare with Cope Miners. This one, they added Lukman as well.
Yeah.
And they moved Cope Miners deeper. I mean, that is a really, really gutsy move when you're playing in your first ever final. And how Xabi Alonso didn't even anticipate that, counter it. His plan to play the three little guys up front.
Yeah.
I mean, who goes into a final without their best center forward, their second best center forward, their third best center forward? Yeah, that's you, Borja Iglesias. And again, waits to make the change.
Yeah. I was very disappointed by Xabi Alonso. And he was very gracious in defeat.
Oh, he was.
Good for him. But
he'll come back better.
Yeah. But you remember when I said to you maybe 2 or 3 shows ago when I said, okay, if they go unbeaten the whole season and they win the league, the Europa League and the German Cup, is this the greatest season ever? And you say, oh, we'll see. We'll have a look at who they faced this season, who they played against, and if really this compares with, I don't know, the City treble or the United treble or the Guardiola treble, etc., etc. And yesterday I looked at the teams they played against.
I'm glad you did it because I didn't want to be mean.
No, I know. And it's taking nothing away from the incredible Bundesliga season that they had. Yeah. Amazing, even if you can look at Leipzig and Dortmund and Bayern and maybe not the best versions of themselves. But amazing. But in Europe, certainly, they struggled against Karabakh and they were very lucky to go through in the quarterfinals. Okay, then they played Marseille, or in the last 16, then they played Marseille at some point. But even the first leg at the Velodrome, they were not that. That was Atalanta. They were not that great, Atalanta. But for Bayer Leverkusen against Karabakh, they struggled. And really,
they were nearly knocked out by Roma as well.
Yeah, and this is really the best team that they've played in Europe, certainly all season. And look what happened.
Yeah, I think it is definitely a bit of a wake up call. What I find remarkable about Atalanta as a club is obviously Gasperini rightly gets a lot of credit. As you know, I'm not a big fan of his as a person.
Yeah, the personality.
But there's no arguing with the job he's done. And I also want to give a shout out to the owners, the Percassi family and Steven Pagliuca. To all these funds, American private equity types who come in, there's a right way to do it. And what they did there is they came in, they bought a chunk of the club, they teamed up 50-50 with a local family that's very invested in the club and had run the club very well. Yeah. And you didn't come in and say, hey, okay, this is a shout out to you, Todd Bowley. Oh, let me teach you about mobile technology. Let me teach you about monetizing this, monetizing that. No, they said, all right, what are you doing well? What can we help with? How can we support you in this? Yeah. And they were humble throughout. And, they stuck with Atalanta get a lot of credit for their scouting. Yeah. But when you think about it, it's a mix of homegrown players, and they've got a great academy.
Yeah, good academy,
Ruggeri, obviously.
Yeah.
Scalvini's phenomenal, came off the bench, but whatever. It was really good when he came on.
Yeah.
Smart scouting for undervalued players elsewhere. Hien is, again, an obvious example of that.
as well, of course.
Yeah, guys like Lukman, De Ketelaere, guys who maybe, or even Scamacca, who maybe, were hugely promising as kids, went off the rails a little bit, and then they bring them back and relaunch them. All of this comes together and makes them a model club.